When you sit down to write a newsletter to send to your list, do you struggle with knowing what to write? Yeah? Well, that's okay. That's completely normal. I think every business owner at some point, including me, and I write for a living, struggle with this. But, it doesn't have to be that way. What you really need is a quick and repeatable technique for finding ideas. So I'm going to teach you a simple technique that I use every single time I need to find inspiration and find loads of potential newsletter topics or ideas, and it's specifically ones that people are going to want to open up and read. So keep watching because I'm going to take you behind the scenes of one of the lessons inside the 90-day newsletter planner workshop. So in the next 10 minutes or so, you're going to learn this technique and how to use it. Here we go. What if you don't have any existing newsletter ideas or topics to work with? Or what if you came up with like 2 or 3 and then you hit a blank spot? So this happens sometimes if you're new to business, you're just starting out, or maybe you just climbed out of a deep, dark pit of client work and you've been neglecting your marketing activities for a few months. So, whatever the reason this got you here to where you have no topics or ideas to work with, you're going to want to listen really closely to this video because I'm going to share with you my favorite technique for getting inspired. And I use it to fill my newsletter's idea section with topics that subscribers will actually want to read. And that's important. These are topics they will actually want to read. And I call this technique online conversation mining. And that's just a fancy way of saying I'm going to search or mine for ideas in real relevant conversations that are already happening online, wherever it is that your ideal buyers hang out. And that's really the key to putting out newsletters with topics or ideas or themes that newsletter subscribers actually want to read. So, the key to that is really searching conversations that are already happening. So you're tying those ideas to questions and concerns and problems that real people are having and that you see that they're having in those conversations. So now where you look will depend on who your ideal buyer is. I've used places like subreddits, product reviews, relevant forums, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, Twitter hashtags, blog comments. Those are just a few examples of places you can start. And of course, you want to choose the place or several places that's the most relevant for the person you're trying to speak to in your newsletters. So when you need to go out and find a load of new ideas for your, upcoming newsletters, when you're doing your planning, you really just want to follow 3 steps. Step 1 is to identify who, what, and where. So you want to know who you're talking to, what you're going to be talking about, or kind of your theme. That's often related to what you're going to be promoting. If you listen to the video on kind of syncing up your topics with your upcoming sales goals or upcoming marketing pushes and those kinds of things. And then you need to decide where you're going to look for those kinds of conversations. So let's say that I'm going to be speaking to course creators in my upcoming newsletters. And I'm going to be talking a lot about sales pages because I want to promote my sales page services or resources or whatnot. So I'm going to be using sales page as a keyword. And then where I'm going to look is Facebook groups, because I know that there are a lot of course creators hanging out on Facebook groups, and I'm a part of Facebook groups where those course creators hang out. So now I have kind of the boundaries that are going to kind of guide my search. I'm talking to course creators about sales pages, and I'm going to look in Facebook groups, relevant Facebook groups. Step 2 is to do a simple keyword search in the place where you're looking. So for me, that is on Facebook. So you can see here, I'm inside the Teachable Tribe group because Teachable is a software for course creators. And so they have a group where lots of course creators hang out and talk about, the struggles and ask questions around selling their courses online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a search through the search bar here for the keyword sales page because that's closely tied to what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to leave the search kind of parameters to the default. So I'm looking at all posts, top posts, and anything posted by anyone. So I'm going to hit enter and start that search. Then I'm going to comb through the conversations to look for tidbits that are related to sales pages that would make good topics for newsletters. So you can see here I've pulled up a question asked by David inside this group, and he's asking for some information surrounding kind of what goes on a sales page. So I might look at this question and this conversation and think people want to know what goes on a sales page or what they need to include. And that might make a good newsletter. That might also make a great lead magnet or a workshop or anything like that. So once you've found a conversation that has a tidbit in there that you want to save, then you move on to step 3, which is to create an idea task inside your newsletter planner. When you're doing the online conversation mining and you're in search mode, make sure you have the newsletter planner opened in a separate tab. That'll make it easier to switch back and forth to add things to your newsletter planner. So after I've copied that conversation that I just found in the Facebook group, all I'm going to do is add an idea task to my newsletter planner. So I'm going to click Add Task. I'm going to make sure that I drag it down here to the Ideas Topics section. I'm going to start with idea. Let me go ahead and open this. I'm going to paste that conversation that I have. If I wanted to add the link here, I could also do that if I wanted to reference this later. And then I'm going to kind of name the idea or the topic. So I'm going to name this what goes on a sales page. That's just a simple way to describe kind of the idea behind this potential newsletter topic. Now, these are just ideas. These are not actionable yet. These are things we're going to come back to when we're planning those newsletters to decide what actually makes the cut and the things we're actually going to create. So for now, this is just an idea task. It's not assigned and there is no due date. So what we'll do is when we're ready to make this actionable, we can actually drag it up here to the newsletter section. We can assign it a due date, or we can replace, you see we have some empty ones here. We could replace this one for December 18th and schedule this one on December 18th. And then we could assign it. And then we could delete this empty newsletter task. So to do a quick delete, all you need to do is do Tab, Delete. And that's a shortcut for deleting things in Asana. It really is that simple. To recap, step 1 is to identify who, what, and where. Who are you going to be writing to? What are you going to be talking about? And that's so you can kind of figure out what keywords you need to use for your search. And then where are you going to look? Step 2 is to do a simple keyword search and then comb through the conversations that you find looking for tidbits that would make excellent newsletter topics. And then step 3, once you've found a potential newsletter topic, then you create an idea task inside of your newsletter planner. I recommend you spend, anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes in doing your search to try to come up with somewhere around, 20 to 30 ideas, because not all of those are going to be good ideas when you go back and look, so that you have plenty of material to work with when you're planning your newsletters for the next 3 months or whatever that planning period is for you, and so that you don't have to repeat this process every time you create newsletters. But the great part about it is that you can repeat this process anytime you need fresh inspiration, fresh ideas, or maybe you're switching paths and you have a new topic that you're going to talk about and you don't have any ideas around that new topic. So this is a really simple exercise that you can go through whenever you need to find that inspiration and find those ideas. And by looking in those real relevant conversations, you're going to be more likely to create newsletters and send newsletters that your subscribers actually want to read. Need a little extra or maybe a lot of help putting out newsletters for your business consistently? The 90-Day Newsletter Planner Workshop shows you how to set up a partially automated, fully streamlined newsletter system. You'll learn how to prep, plan, and consistently push out your newsletter so you can build trusted relationships that turn into profitable purchases.